Hey guys, and welcome to another Wheel to Wheel Hot Lap, proudly brought to you by Hybrid Egg. I am your Hot Lap host, Viper's Fang, and it is that time of year. The fat lady's warming up. The big red man in the big suit is warming his sleigh. It's almost Christmas, and that means that it's the last round for Wheel to Wheel for this year. It is the Super Enduro at Daytona. We have 50 laps coming up around this epic track, and if previous iterations of this race have been anything to go by, it is going to be epic. There is so much going on here, so much pit stop strategy, and so many different ways to get to the end of this race. It's going to be a really, really good one. And to show us the way around Daytona, we have Corbin. He has donned the Hot Lap hat for the last round, and he is going to show us the way around Daytona Road Course. Take it away, Corbin.
Thanks, Viper, and welcome to this week's Wheel to Wheel Hot Lap. This week we are doing our Super Enduro around the Daytona Roval. I've been asked to do the lap guide because I've been told in the past that I'm really good at tracks with a little amount of corners, so here we are. A few corners that are really difficult, and the first one around here will be turn 1. Kind of comes around on a corner. I usually try to be really cautious. I want to be making sure that I'm on the brakes well before this painted line and try and get a good angle, because if you do go far off here, you either get a big penalty or you can just lose a lot of time. So I thought I got on the brakes fairly early. I overshot this corner a little bit, but got good drive traction on the exit because the Mustang does like to kick it out sideways. Coming to the next section of corners, typically I want to be trying to be well on the brakes by the time that access road on the right starts, so I can pull it up, just give a little bit of a touch of the curbs, get out sideways a little bit. Don't be afraid to use this little apron on the edge. You don't get track limit penalties for this. Sometimes if you do arc it perfectly, you can just run out here naturally, but sometimes it's nice if you are a little slower. Bring it out here anyway, and it'll save the tyres a little bit. Into a left kink, don't lift, don't brake. Around here, so I usually try and in the middle of this access way on the left, roughly around the middle, I usually try to be on the brakes. Again, it's another long arcing corner that's really easy to go deep on and just really kind of mess up. Here I got a little bit deep, but I was able to kind of stay on the right side of the camber of the road and kind of hook it around nicely. Again here, the middle of the access track, this is probably one of the easier corners on the track, but it is a double apex, so it's really just about setting it up. So I like to hit the apex on the inside, run it out wide and get on the power. In terms of rear right tyres, which seems to be the most worn out tyre around here, this is a killer for the corner if your car kicks out sideways, or just in general it does lean very heavy on that tyre. So coming down the back straight now, time to kind of stretch those legs, stretch those fingers, and kind of just think about the commitment to the next corner. Try and kind of go as low as you can, right up. Again, this is probably the second most difficult complex on the track other than turn 1, because at least for this, if you go a little wide in one corner, you can kind of compensate a little bit. So usually just before the 1 and that kind of little pole thing there, tripping on the brakes, I was probably a little bit cautious into that, so I try to hit each curb nice and smooth, minimize the time to turn on here, and then just again ride the bottom of the apron, just try and keep it smooth. Again, don't turn too harshly, get it nice and low to the apron, cross the line. and that was a 45.6. So I had probably had a few more tenths in me, but this is kind of just a few laps just to really show the bites that this track has, and I think this is where I went way too deep into turn 1. So that's how easy it is, and then probably kicked it up sideways a little bit. So it's just, I think for Daytona, there's really the turn 1, you got the bus stop, you got a few corners that you really do have to think about. So it's a difficult track. Really simple once you get the hang of it, but it is kind of difficult to fully understand, and does pose a few challenges to the car. Alright, Viper, and back to you.
Well, thanks for that, Corbin. Another great hot lap there. It's a big shout out to all of the drivers who've participated in the hot laps this season. Thank you so much for giving up your time to show us the way around these epic circuits. A big shout out again to Hybrid Ag for sponsoring the hot lap for this season. Without them, this doesn't happen, and we appreciate your support. But let's talk about this week. It's a super enduro, 50 laps around the Daytona Road Course, and it's going to be a great one. There are many different ways to get around this track, and there are many different cars who have different strengths and weaknesses. So some of the better tyre cars are going to maybe do less pit stops, and some of the guys who can stretch lap time out are maybe going to do more pit stops and be running towards the front. It's going to be a great one to watch. You guys should definitely not miss it. Standard super enduro rules apply, so all tyres will be mandatory. There is at least 2 pit stops, but I think you're going to need to do more to get to the 50 lap mark. Fuel is a consideration here. Daytona is a heavy full throttle lap. You are on the gas for most of the lap here, and even when you're in that internal section, you're still very much on the throttle. So it chews fuel, and it chews that right rear tyre. Those banked sections are really tyre munching. So who's going to be able to conserve tyre? Who's going to be able to make the fuel stretch? Is someone going to be able to cut out a pit stop? Are there going to be undercuts and overcuts? There's so much going on. You guys should definitely tune in. So 5:30 and 7:30. It's going to be a great one. We're hopefully going to get out a few different divisions in streams this week. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great one. I hope you guys tune in. And it is a big thank you from me, Viper's Fang, for tuning into these each and every week. It's a great honour to bring you these hot laps every week, and it makes me very happy to think that someone is getting some benefit out of these. So a big shout out to everyone, a big shout out to all our sponsors. Have a Merry Christmas, and you know what to do. Let's get some.